where the wrestling truth resides.
Everybody else's questions. I want my questions.
Fine,
damn it.
Cat, go ahead.
Okay, let's do Cat's questions. Sorry, guys. Cat has vetoed my decision-making processes because this is his podcast.
I'm the host of the show. It's my podcast.
Yes.
I want to know about the road. I want to know about the forming of the streak and the decision of ending it with Ace, as well as that ending match. Like we hinted the last show, where the whole table spot got very scary for both of you.
Well, the streak happened by accident. The streak I actually started with a loss. I lost to Zach Burton in the first match of one of the first matches of Pandemic at the Dojo, which is why we came back to it at the very last episode of Pandemic at the Dojo with the Deserted Dojo match. Because throughout the Pandemic of the Dojo, I started beating all the youngins here, all the students, because no one wanted to work the students. No one. I'll be honest with stuff like that, because everybody's trying to get looked at by Randy. They all want to have these big, competitive, awesome matches from Randy and hope to get booked for Limitless. While all the students who are there trying to help do these Pandemic of the Dojo tapings or the road tapings would get left at the wayside. And I'm like, I bet you're going to have better matches with these students than some of y'all having these competitive ass matches and no one gives a shit. And I proved it with the streak. And I remember it because AG gave me a compliment. He's like, one of the things I love watching about the Pandemic at the Dojo and the road was my matches, is what he said. And that made me feel good, because this is right before he was going away, to the big time at the time. So he gave me props. But yeah, I would wrestle at all the students, and it would be like some of their first matches, right? Dylan Nix.
Yep. Yeah.
And so I'd go through all of them, and I'd get the best matches possible out of them, and they'd be entertaining as fuck. And I was the heel, so I'd beat the shit out of them, but also like try to pull some good spots out of them.
I remember,
yeah. I remember one spot in particular. It was as we were going on through the streak, and mind you, the streak kept going because, again, I was wrestling all the people that no one wanted to really wrestle. No offense, but the Greenhorns during this time, during the Pandemic of the Dojo and the road, everybody's looking to have those those knockdown, drag out fights.
Yeah.
Because that's what they think Randy wants to see. All the while, Randy just wants to be entertained and enjoy it as much as the next person. Because you got to remember, he's there. Back then, he was one of the video camera guys. Yeah. He's there recording every fucking match. Him and
Paul.
What?
Paul.
Yeah, him and Paul.
Yeah.
And give him props, because they were hours of recording. Hours and hours. And then you got to remember, hours afterwards, he had to, when he was editing this shit, when Randy's editing, he had to do all the commentary too. So like, he had to watch his back twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times.
Yep.
Anyway, so my goal was to have the best matches with the least experienced people and make them show out over other matches. And that's why everybody remembers the streak, because that's what I did. And I literally said it to everybody else is there. Like people I'd never heard of in my life showing up to do these tapings because they begged Randy to let them see them, and then they never got a booking afterwards. You didn't get a booking because you didn't care to make your match matter. I wanted to make my matches matter. Even with students, I proved that I could do it. I was like, this is why I'm where I'm at, because I'm that guy. I could do it with anybody. And I proved it. And then I went on to wrestle more capable people. Like, I wrestled Rip and Mike Gamble and Love Doug and a bunch of other people. And I could have even better matches with people that were competitive. And this is me versus Dylan Nix. I want you, once we get to the finish, though, I want you to look at Amber's face.
All right.
That's what cost me huge. It was a video of that. Also, right there, that pop Rip. Rewind that. Watch Rip.
Yeah, it pops.
Watch Rip in the background. And if you could turn the volume up a smidge and listen to Rip. Just listen to Rip when this clothesline happens.
And 3 straight clobbering Eric Johnson. Good Lord.
See Rip in the back. That's all Rip.
I'll be honest, that was still one of my favorite bumps ever taken because it looked disgusting.
Fucking love Rip.
Gossie right there. Oh, Goss. I I don't think John Cena had really short hair at one point.
Can he lock his hands?
Heavy Metal Thunder here, I think.
Yeah, the heavy metal hit.
Before we go anymore, I just remember this. We're doing the road, and it was supposed to be Connor Hex and Dylan Nix getting into it. That was supposed to be the story, and it got mixed up. Well, I remember Nix putting in the aqua lock and doing the spot, whatever, and it kind of got fucked up. But at the end of it, when everything was all done, I just remember you, Eric, go, "Jesus Christ, Nix! It's not a fucking shoot."
He was choking him the fuck out. He was choking him the fuck out. I'm like, yo, bro, he's choking me the fuck out. I'm like, yo, dude.
I remember him going like, okay, lighten up, and I was like, oh shit, I'm so sorry.
I'm like, dude, and I have to sell it. Like, what the fuck am I gonna do? But like, I'm like, dude, you know it's at work, right? Like, what the fuck? You know, Taz didn't really choke people out.
Wrestling's fake, right?
You know, Taz really didn't choke people out unless they pissed him off. But like, come on, man. Like, I wanted to go. You know, I can murder you, right? I was ready to just no sell it and murder him at one point. I was like, I'll just kill him. Fuck it. But anyway, continue on.
I'm glad you didn't.
Johnson, though, too much strength and not a good enough grip from Dylan Nix. Johnson brings him around town into the heavy metal hit.
That's cool.
I think that was awesome. For like my third match.
I called it heavy metal, but he turned and called it the heavy metal hit. I used to be like, heavy metal is what I was going. Then I stopped doing it because of freaking Jericho.
Can we take notice at like some
watch Amber's face?
Greetings from Asbury Park, right on top of his head. Thanks for the memories.
That was actually the dojo chat. That still of Amber's face is actually the dojo chat picture for a while.
Background photo.
So anyhow, to continue on with the street, like one of the memorable moments I remember, my shit was getting noticed so much that I was like, I want, like, just by the workers, not just the fans. I was like, I want to do something special, and that's why I pulled in the Ethan story, because no one was doing promos. No one. What?
Favorite part of the streak. That
Dude,
was so awesome.
And that was a shoot. I'm gonna tell you this right now. If you go to the Love, it's on YouTube. You have to look up Me versus Love Dog, and it's the snippet at the end. Which I don't understand why it never got to be separate, but that's how we tied it in. We wanted to keep it secret because we wanted to work the boys. We worked everybody on that angle. So everybody remembers my promos. They're always
4
with
of us knew. 4.
That's it. Just 4 people, maybe 5.
Okay.
I remember because we had to tell Pigpen. Obviously, Randy knew. I knew. Ethan knew, and I think Dylan Nix knew.
I just happened to be there when you guys were talking about it. That's the only reason I knew.
So we worked a spot. What it was is I was like, no one like doing promos. I never understood that. I'm like, you realize the reason why half the streak happened and why it was so good is I kept cutting promos about it because I kept wanting to face the champ, which at the time was AG, and then he leaves. And I wanted to be in the title picture, and I'm beating all these people, but no one's giving me a shot. And then they're like, "Oh, well, you're not beating the right people." Well, and then I start beating the right people, and I'm still not getting a shot. So, like, that was my story. And Ethan's, I'm kind of like bullying him because he's the only member of the staff that's giving me any responses because he's interviewing me every time. So I'm picking on him. I'm bullying him. I'm getting pissed. Well, right at the end of the Love Dog match, we're going to shoot this on the fly. And I pitched it to Randy. And Randy's like, I fucking love it. I was like, don't tell nobody. Don't tell anybody. I was like, the only people we got to tell are you and Pigpen because you got to run the cameras. Everybody else. And I was pissing off some of the boys with my shit. I can't remember the dude's name. Spazmaniac, something like that. He came up with Katie Arquette.
Yeah, they were dating at that time. I don't know if they still are.
Yeah, I don't remember. I remember cutting a promo and it was like super serious and he didn't know the story. This is like he's randomly coming up because he just wants Randy to see him and get work. And I think he pretty much is there because Katie Arquette's there. And I think Randy wanted to use Katie Arquette because of her name and all that shit. Her name value and all that. Anyway, which is very little. But it was something. It was something different. Randy likes things that are different. I respected that idea. But he came up and he's like, "Oh, can you not yell and swear so much in your promo?" I'm like, I looked at him like, who the fuck are you? I looked at him like, who the fuck are you? Are you cutting a promo? You gonna cut any promos? I might. That was his, I might. I'm like, well, doesn't look like you got any camera time. It must mean you're not important. And I walked away.
Shit.
I didn't talk to him the entire time I was there after that. I shook his hand out of respect and I was like, yeah, whatever. He's like, bye. I'm like, whatever. I was like, who the fuck are you? I love it when people come up from nowhere and they're hoping that they think they're great, and then Randy sees them, and then Randy's like, you're average.
Yep.
Randy knows talent. He sees plenty of it. He knows who's willing to bust their ass for it. And at the time, I was busting my ass, and it wasn't just about me.
Yeah.
I unwillingly told people a story without them knowing it with me and Ethan, leading up to that match with me and Ethan. And I don't know if you have that on standby with me, the love.
I have it on standby right now.
Okay, so watch the boys' reaction.
When you beat
Because literally, I told Ethan what I needed. He brought his wrestling segment for when he was training with me, because he trained to be a wrestler, and I knew he could do these spots. These were simple shit. I told him, wear your wrestling shoes that day, wear it underneath your thing, so when you're taking the clothes off, people see the singlet underneath. And they're like, no way is he going to do this, because I'm running my mouth. I'm calling people out. Go for it. Play it up. This is some awesome shit. This is natural reaction from people, because they didn't know this match was going to happen.
Mortar's face. Oh my god! At the end of this.
Oh, come on now, leave him alone.
Yeah, this is like
Scott into the
Look at the whole back second. Tyree is it it's Tyree over there. Mortar. You'll see Ben come. You see people come out from behind, out back, and come watch it because they're like, "What the fuck is going on?"
It was me. I was one of them.
Yeah, because it looked like we were shooting a match on the fly, and we did.
I was sitting over at the table with Dave.
What does he mean by
Dave's
that?
like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "Watch." All I said was watch.
To win your love, I'm here to win matches. And to show I should be the uncrowned.
See, I want the title, but AG had left, and there's no champion right now. I want the fucking belt. That's the story. I'm undefeated, and yet I don't get a chance.
Which one of you a-holes wants to be number 4? Wait a second.
Let's wait for the fans' reaction here. Wait for the boys.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Ethan Scott has a singlet on.
Yeah, everybody is on their
Look at the people that are like, "Oh, this is fucking great," because this is shot on the fly. Watch for the pop for the fast press.
You gotta be kidding me! Nice push from Ethan Scott! The shot
Oh man, everyone's going nuts.
Everybody's on their
The
feet.
bell is sounded! This match is official!
Watch for the pop from the kick out. Watch the people.
Only 2!
Awesome. Look at everybody standing. They can't believe what they're watching, because this is all, we worked everybody.
Only 2!
See, everybody's standing and counting. Like, we worked everybody. This is great.
After weeks of torment from
I knew what was going on, and I was still
Watch this. Here comes a big pop.
Fuck you, Eric.
He nails a stunner!
Watch for the pop and the kick out.
Scott miracle!
Yeah,
Oh,
I
Look at
thought
Mortar and Ben and Kyrie in the back. They're like, what the
close!
Yeah, I
Ethan Scott!
I see the great show that's
Barely
Mortar.
putting his name in the history books here on the road. He's been training in the Limitless Wrestling Dojo.
Watch for the pop here when I take his head
An
out.
opportunity like this.
Even Dad was just.
Oh no!
The infamous fucking clothesline right there. Not one clothesline a match. One.
He hasn't moved a muscle.
Only one I throw.
That's all.
You know what?
That's all. So,
It's on your head. No, come on.
They're
now.
like,
It's
no.
over, Eric.
The
It's
reaction, this is pure natural reaction because nobody knew what was happening.
Oh, come on now.
The only people that knew were Randy, Pink Ben, Dylan, Nix, myself. And obviously the man I just hit with the Johnson special.
Placing his knee across the chest.
the fact that.
And yeah, it's over.
Natural. See, they all wanted me to lose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's natural reaction. They also, I think, from a lot of it, and I'm not going to lie to you, I think a lot of them really did want me to lose. A lot of them hated the streak because it wasn't them doing it. I did it unintentionally. This all shit has happened by accident because I was getting the best out of people. And I was like, no one wants to cut promos? I'll do one and I'll tie everything in and make a story. And that's why you see all those, if you watch the road, weeks to build up with me and Ethan doing these promos, and no one's giving me a title shot. No one answers my response. Ethan's the only member of the staff there, so I take it out on him. I bully him, lead it up to that. Bam.
That's the only reason why I wanted him to beat you was that because like seeing those promos, I'm like, oh, I really hope.
Unintentional buildup, and you watched it happen. So from a viewer's perspective, it's great. The boys, By the time that ended, that was like I think the last match of that season that I had.
Yeah.
Before we got to the next one. By the next one, people were still looking forward to the matches. I was starting to have, like I said, more competitive matches with other guys that were more competitive. I wasn't wrestling as many students because I also told Randy, I was like, I got to start wrestling other guys. But the problem was, I think I generated so much heat from doing that angle that a lot of, like, I had people that were volunteering to work me, and I also had people that didn't want to work me. So
and I'm still.
I don't think Randy knows that, but I know that. So
I like I said, I'm still of this mindset that where I'm like, everyone's like, oh, we don't want to work this, but I'm like, I'll work. Come on, I don't care. Let's go.
Right.
I'd rather work a match, and especially if it's something I haven't worked before, work it, and you learn something from that. You may learn, hey, this works, this doesn't. Then be like, no, I don't want to work that guy.
So I'll explain how things changed. So we did all those tapings, and then of course COVID's all done, so there's no need for doing any more tapings. But we really didn't have any venues because we lost the Orono venue because God rest his soul, the person who got us the venue passed away.
Yeah.
And he was a good man. He used to love the shows. He used to love the people watching people, even when we did the live shows. Loved him. So we lost that. I got us into Ronco's, which I used to run IWE out of there when it was a timeout. I did a couple shows there.
Ronco's was fun.
But Ronco's is limited. And at the end of the day, they kept telling us they weren't making enough money. And that's because I told them, well, maybe if you stop pulling our bartender from the event room to downstairs, we wouldn't have that problem because people would be looking for drinks and food and there's no one to order from because they wouldn't be upstairs. Well, that last show we did was also the last month they were open.
Yep.
And they were literally not going to let us have the show because they weren't making enough money. And they held us up for $300 to have that last Ronco show.
Not only did like we pay them to rent there, 90% of us went downstairs after the show.
You ordered food
I'm sure they got money out of us, enough money out of us.
Plus the 100 people that were there.
We had
we were at the end of COVID times, but there were still the restrictions. So they were making plenty of money. They were just money hungry, and they knew they were losing the venue.
Just from the boys,
so I think that last
of us.
We were getting the venue for free.
So many people there.
The building was for free. The building was free until that last show that we did, which is the one that Alex Chamberlain was on because he was having to be up here when he was. And we got him. We just let him work while he was up here. But like, that show almost didn't happen because they weren't going to let it happen because they didn't want to. They wanted something for the room, and that's when I knew the writing was on the wall. And they're like, well, $300, we'll do it. Because they originally said $5. I said, that's not cost effective. I'm not doing it. I said, well, you take 2. And they said, give us 3. And Randy and I agreed because I helped get the shows happening. Randy said they wouldn't pay any more than that for that room. He also wanted the show just to happen because we already started advertising it.
Yeah.
So
like, just get it done.
So during the Ronco's bit, obviously we kept the streak going. We had the angle with me and Ace, which was super hot fire. The matches were great.
Mm-hmm.
People loved it, and we had natural chemistry because I've known Ace forever, and I, helped him give him some of his breakup here in Maine because other than Super Lucha Explosiva, he wasn't doing anything. Well, we come to the Morgan Hill show, and I told Randy at that time it was make or break. Like we got to do something with the streak. I either got to win and get a shot and go down to Yarmouth and like to where the big shows because he was still doing Yarmouth shows even though they were closed tapings.
Yeah,
he never stopped. So Yarmouth never stopped.
Nope.
And at this point, COVID's almost over, and we're trying to we're doing Morgan Hill as one of our big first pop offs after everything. All the restrictions are finally gone. And I was like, okay, well, and at that point, I've been losing weight. I was in great shape. I think I was peak Eric Johnson during the streak, like the heel Eric Johnson was there. Right at that moment, me versus Ace. Peak. I lost weight, with great shape, feeling good, moving the best. I could go. And I was trying to go down to Yarmouth, to be real with you. I wanted to work competitively against people. And I thought my matches with Ace and shit at Ronco should have proved that. And then I went nowhere because this is what I was told. I was talking to Randy about it at the time. Ace was going to win the belt. AG was gone. So a lot of because he was in WWE at the time.
He had that wrestler's curse.
Yeah, so all the guys that were built up were leaving, so they left Ace, and Ace was going to finally get the belt. So he figured he was going to use him ending the streak as the piggyback to him getting the belt. And I said, that makes sense.
Storyline wise, yeah.
So that's what I was told. And I also was told that eventually I'd get a chance down in Yarmouth, which never happened. But anyway, this is where it gets frustrating. So I was told I'm putting over Ace. He's beating the streak. He's going to win the belt. Okay, that's why I'm finally losing. Ace shows up to this venue. First off, he's sick. He's getting over the flu and has no initiative. He feels like garbage. I understood it. So I tried pitching shit to him, tried to come up with stuff. He had a couple ideas. So we put everything together that we could, the best we could, with how he was feeling and what he did and didn't want to do and what I did want to do. And I'm down to whatever because I'm just trying to get this match to be the best match possible because I'm losing.
Yeah.
But Ace is sick. So it's him. If you watch most of the match, it's him beating the shit out of me mostly. And a couple big spots where he takes the big spots. Like, I hit him in the head with the tag bat and things. There's a couple big spots he takes, but if you watch a lot of it, it's me getting my ass beat.
Mm-hmm.
That's because he felt like shit. Okay, cool. We needed a door for the finish because we said, okay, well, this is the last man standing. So the best way to do this is if we both fall off the apron somehow through this fucking table or door on the floor. And then we Rocky Balboa the ending. Full on Apollo Creed, Rocky Balboa, both trying to pull yourselves up, and one pulls himself into the ring, one stays on and falls down on the floor, and that's how you call it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we can make this work. And I thought we could make it work. And then we saw what the fucking door was. And that's not one of those cheap bathroom doors or bedroom doors. It's one of those fucking doors you have on your back door of your house.
Was it not an interior door?
No. Go back and find the video. It's online. It's a big ass fucking door.
I have the video, yeah.
Go look at the door.
Like, as someone that has always bought interior doors when they do those spots,
it's a big ass door. Look at that thing.
I just thought it was just a regular interior.
No, supposedly Randy had this door at his house. It was a spare door. And he thought because me and Ace were big enough, we'd break it. Not in theory, I think if we'd scorched the underside, we probably could have somehow. But we didn't know this was the door for the table.
But it flipped.
Yeah, well, that's because we had to put it on chairs, so we had to have everything else. And the chairs have grommets on the bottom, which allowed them to slide.
Yeah.
Also, it's one of those doors that it's an outdoor door, so it has a filament on it, like that shiny filament shit.
Oh, okay. I thought it was a full.
Ace is beating the shit out of me this entire match, and Dave, respectively. Pause it for a second. He's beating the both out of us. I'm giving you this perspective before we get to the door spot. See how it's an outdoor door. Look at you see the 4 little spaces. See the 4 squares?
That is definitely an exterior door.
Yeah.
So we're working with what we got. Ace had brought some shit, and I had brought some shit, and we're working with whatever we could find at the dojo. That's why it's last man standing. We put together, I thought, the best considering he's getting over the flu. He still kind of has it. He feels like shit. That's why I said I took a brunt of the abuse. If you watch the match back, I got my ass handed to me. And I'll give it to Ace. He took some big spots for me to make me look good too.
This could look like an interior door, though, from certain perspectives, but I totally understand like what you're saying.
Now you're seeing it. You're like, oh yeah, that's definitely not a normal interior door.
Because like you go look at any of my matches that I've used doors.
The door's flat.
Exactly the same. But like I understand.
Yeah, the doors are like an interior bathroom door is completely flat, other than the knob hole.
Right.
This is a thick exterior door with the filament on it.
Right.
Shiny stuff. Anyway, so we're at this point, and we thought, okay, maybe we could break it because we're both big. And I told him like, well, how are we gonna do this? We're gonna both fall through it. And he's like, no. He's like, let me fucking figure something out. Because he originally thought maybe he could pounce me through it, but how is he going both of us going to land on it? I said, just fucking spear me through it then. And he goes, fuck it. He's like, I'll come through the ropes. I'll spear you. We'll both go through it. And I said, all right. Which means I'm going to take the brunt of it because I'm landing back first. Well, the problem is, as I said, the chairs have these little rubber grommets on them because it keeps them from scuffing the floor, which makes sense. And because the filament on the door, because it's like that shiny, slidey shit, the door slides off with us going through it. So we hit the floor. on top of me hitting the floor before you hit play. Here's the part we're going to say. Before we hit the floor, watch this door. It hits me in the head. Continue. Now watch carefully.
Yeah.
And then you can slow-mo it afterwards.
I was gonna say I'll slow-mo it afterwards.
And it also hits a fan.
I'm standing literally right on the top end of that right there, recording it. And I was like, holy fuck.
Yeah, you don't see me in the background freaking out.
Yeah, and then they also show you the other angle too, I believe. That's where you want to see is the other angle if they show
You
it.
see me kneeling next to Dennis, like
Yeah, I'm right over in the right-hand corner.
I'm
freaking out.
concussed at this point. As I'm talking to him, I'm telling him, like, dude, my head's throbbing. I think I have a concussion. Watch my head. Bang.
Collateral damage.
Bang.
Oh my gosh.
Door popped me in the back of my head.
the door hits Alicia's husband too, which is funny.
Yeah, he was fine though. As I remember,
Yeah,
Paul
he was
Mann
fine.
watched over. Paul Mann, if you rewind, does you have a slow mo on that somehow?
Yeah. What angle? The first one?
The one where I'm falling and like right. Keep it going. Let it play.
This one right here.
Not this one. The other one. The other angle. The fork angle.
Okay.
Keep going. It's coming here in a minute when they show the replay. Slow it.
This one?
Yep.
Okay.
Go into Big Cat. Go
Yeah,
to
I got it.
there, play back. Yeah, go like 25.
I'm gonna mute it because
Yeah, definitely mute it.
I'm going down.
Oof. Oof.
Bam.
Oh, you can
Back
see
of the
the
head.
door ripple.
Yeah.
See that?
Oh
The
shit!
door
Go
ripples
back real
when it
quick,
hits
go
you in the
back.
head.
Yeah. It hits me in that head hard. Hard.
Like watch the edge of the door. It ripples when it hits you.
Boom. Boom.
Bam.
Boom.
See?
The door warped
Jeez.
for a moment, and then it comes back when all the weight doesn't go into it.
Holy shit.
Mm-hmm. Keep playing it slow mo. It shows another angle. You'll get a better view. Watch. He hits me. We start to go. His leg goes first. That's a problem.
He landed on the floor
Bam.
first.
Rocks my shit.
See if I can find.
And at that point, I'm laying on him. I'm like, dude, I'm fucking concussed. That door just slammed in my fucking head. And you'll see me hold it. You can play it at full speed now. Watch it. Watch me. I'm holding my head the entire fucking time. I'm like, we're done. I literally just looked at him like, we're fucking done. I'm heated at this point.
Over 600 pounds. Well over
I'm
600
fucking
pounds.
heated. I'm laying there like that should not happen. And I remember looking up at the fan, which is Alicia's husband, and I'm like, you good? He's like, yeah. I had Paul Mann was there. I'm going to check on him. He got hit with the door. Ace, you see Ace was checking too to make sure that he was looking up. Like, oh, like we hit that fucking fan with the door.
Might be facing a double count. I don't think there's anything left in the tank, Johnny Torres.
I'm concussed, pissed off,
Double count out.
and annoyed at this point.
No contest. My God.
I told Ace, like, we're done, so let's get to the finish and get the fuck out of here. When I was laying on him.
9, up.
And nobody knew that was the finish because the door didn't break. But he's up and I'm not. So at least people reacted. So I'll tell you the next thing that I don't know if anybody who knows. Bang! Look at the force of that thing hit me in the head.
Like it's
What?
wild how crazy.
Dude, I'm concussed just watching that.
Yeah.
Right.
I was freaking
Yeah.
out. I was
So
I didn't see the door hit you. I thought the door slid and you guys went straight floor. That's what I saw. I thought the door kicked out and you guys smashed head first into the
It
door
looked
into
like
the
it
floor.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's not even the worst part about it. So after the match was over, so we were the main event. At this point, me and Ace's shit was main event material all through that. Ron goes to this. And this is the cusp of everything changing back to normal. And Ace is supposed to get his big payoff because he's going to face for the title. Cool. What about me? Right? What happens to me now?
Right.
Well, after the show, I'm downstairs. I'm fucking concussed. I'm in pain. I'm hurting. Randy comes in. I ask him, like, what, like, how do you feel about the matchup? He said he thought Ace beat the shit out of me too much, which I understood that because he's not lying. He did, but it's because he's sick and he has the flu. So I'm trying to cover him so he doesn't have to do a lot. Also, the table spot sucked, and I said, well, if you hadn't gotten us an outdoor table and we had an indoor table, I would have bought one. I would have bought one for $60.
I was going to say
I appreciate him bringing the one that he had.
They were still
free.
$60. They're now like $70, $80 now.
Of course, it's gone up now, but back then they were like $60.
Right. That's why I bought Marketplace now.
So, and I said, and he's also didn't like the type of finish, and I said, well, if we'd gone through the table, it would have been a hot pop because we're both laying on the table, and then one of us lives and one of us doesn't. You know what I mean? The spot would have got paid off the right way because the table didn't break and because a fan almost got taken out by a table. And I get it. He was upset about that too. And I'm like, well, dude, that table, because it's an outdoor table and it's heavy as fuck, blasted me in the head and I have a concussion right now, guaranteed. So I was already seeing fucking stars. So I was irritated. And he was just the word he uses, he was disappointed at it. That's what got me. He said he was disappointed in the match. And I said, so in my brain, I'm concussed. I'm tired. Just got my ass beat all match covering Ace, the guy they're supposed to be making as champion. I fell through a fucking door. It's an outdoor hard door that's supposed to fucking stand. Some of those doors stand up to fucking battering rams from police fucking cops and shit.
I mean, here in Maine, they're intended to like stand up to weather, and our weather is insane. Correct. So yes.
And now I have a concussion. I have to go to the hospital the next day, if not that night, which I went 2 days later because I wanted to make sure I was coherent enough to drive because no one else was going to drive me. And he says he's disappointed. I get no phone calls from Randy during that time. I'm not teaching at the dojo. I left wrestling for a giant space of time, if y'all remember. For a giant space of time, I left wrestling.
Yeah, I remember not seeing you for a while.
I was pissed off, irritated, and felt like I put a fuck ton of effort in and got nothing. Because I just put over Ace, who's going on to win the title. I literally took all my steam and gave it to somebody else, and I got nothing out of it. And every time I I pulled matches out of people that probably shouldn't be pulling matches out of, which is a lot of greenhorns. I pulled the best matches out of them possible that were more over than the fucking competitive guys that he books on a regular basis. Got nothing. Was teaching at the dojo for free. And I stepped completely away at that point when he told me he was disappointed. I wanted to go, you gonna tell that to your soon-to-be champ that has the flu that when I covered him and did everything else I had to do? But I didn't. I kept my mouth shut. I had a concussion and didn't want to say anything that would upset him because I'm not mad at him. I'm disappointed in him for letting that slide. Because here's the worst part about it. I put over Ace. Guess who got released from WWE and came back and won the title instead of Ace? AG.
Yep.
Which led to Ace, I think, having an issue with Randy and leaving for a minute. Because he told Ace he was next in line. Because Ace was under the impression he was beating the streak and going on to win the belt. I remember because we had the conversation in the basement that day of that match. That's why he was winning. Because he was even wondering what's going to happen to me next because I had such momentum. But literally, I put all my momentum on Ace, and Ace didn't get the belt. AG got released, came back, won the belt. Which is smart business.
Yeah.
Because no one saw that coming, and that was hot fire. But I got, in my brain, I'm disappointed in how I was treated. I was in the best shape, losing a ton of weight. My matches were hot fire. I was fucking trending with shit. I had never done podcasts before. I was doing podcasts with other people. I had a bunch of shit going for me. And I thought we should be riding this fire. And nope. And instead, I got a concussion. and told my match was disappointing when I literally did everything I could to carry it. That's what made me hate wrestling and want to leave it. Because that's when I realized at that point in time, I was never going to wrestle in Yarmouth. I was never going to be featured big anywhere on a Limitless show after that. When I lost to Ace, I lost essentially any leverage to put me in any big spots.
Yeah. Shit.
Do you feel
Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong.
Do you feel like if the table spot would have gone right, that it would have been different?
Yeah, because Ace would have pulled himself out of the wreckage and then declared the winner. Like, if I would have laid there, you would have seen me moving toward the ring and then not get up, but Ace pulls himself up after going through the table. It's a big hero moment.
Right.
Spearing me through a fucking table on the floor. Big hero badass moment.
Right.
And because the table did not break in the way it went, I'm pretty sure if that had been the finish and it went right, we would have a different conversation. Because the reaction would have been the payoff.
Yeah.
But I can't always make chicken salad out of chicken shit.
Yeah, you can only do so much with what you're given.
Yeah. So, and it is what it is. I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
I'll never, I've already come to terms with not like, there's a glass ceiling and everywhere you go.
Yeah.
No matter what you do, no matter what you do, like there's a glass ceiling. No matter how much you want something, unless someone gives you a chance. So my idea was I was in the best shape of my life. I was going to make a fucking run for it with the streak and everything going on. And I was hot fire. I was going to make a run for that shit. Wrestling wise, like maybe this is my chance to make a run for it again. Because I was getting a lot of attention, getting a lot of bookings. Everything was great. And then that moment happened and it was like a complete fucking blackout. As soon as I lost. So that's why I stepped away from wrestling. And then I hear everybody say, "Oh, we miss you." And I'm like, I don't give a shit. Like, I feel like I was wronged and I never got anything out of it. And no one ever reached out to ask me. So, including Randy.
Wow. Yeah, I never knew that part at all.
Yep, for months. I didn't hear nothing from him. Didn't hear anything from anybody. I needed a promoter. After I lost, it was a total blackout.
Yeah, I was basically gone as well, just because of family stuff and other things going on in my life. So, like when I came back, you were already back. So it's like, oh hey, like I didn't even know.
Yeah, I was good. I was gone for like 6 to 8 months.
Yeah,
and which is weird because I went from being on every fucking show, being booked everywhere, and being like a top guy on every fucking card to nothing, all in a hot minute. As soon as I lost, it was like total blackout. Which is sad because I thought I was valued more than that. Now it's the exact opposite. Now I can't stop getting bookings. Everybody books me. Even got promoters begging me to do my old gimmicks and paying me extra money. Bell to bell promotions.